Hi, I'm John from Supermax Tools. Today we're going to go over the double brush machine and the single brush. We're going to go over a lot of different things of exactly what it can do with different brush heads, different types of samples, to give you a real good idea of what you can expect from these machines. There's a couple differences between the double brush and the single brush. They both have brush heads, so they do a lot of the same thing, but the big difference is how much you can produce with this machine in a short amount of time. The single brush is excellent and you'll get the same results as you can with this one, but it takes longer. You might need to run a board through twice to get the same result as you would with this machine one time. This machine can go 0 to 30 feet per minute, and this machine is down to 0 to 15 feet a minute. So that's one of the largest differences. You know, also you have bigger motors on this machine, 7.5 horse motors compared to a 5 horse motor, and things like that come into play as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and move the single head out of the way, and we're going to show you what the double head actually can do. Right now we have this machine set up with a wire head as the first head and a nylon head in the second position. The wire head is going to be doing the work, while the nylon head is going to come through, clean it out, and you'll be able to go straight to finish when you're done brushing. We're going to start with an excellent example of reclaimed barnwood, your flat sawn, solid oak, a cedar board, opens up the grain really well. And then we have even engineered flooring in white oak, MDF, which usually isn't a great wood to work with, but we can brush that, all the way to a very common pine tongue groove board. Alright, we just ran some samples through the double brush sander with a wire head followed by a nylon. So you can do the same results here on a single head. You would just need to switch the heads and rerun with that nylon head as your cleanup head. The pine TNG, it turned out really well. It makes it look a little bit rustic. It's great to throw up on the wall for paneling. Then we do have the engineered white oak flooring. You got just a little bit of a subtle brush look. You can jump over to a white oak flat sawn, which would be more, a cabinet or paneling for the wall. Then we have the cedar, which turned out nice. The MDF even jumped out, with that wire brush, and you put some paint on it, looks excellent. Followed up by the fir, which is a reclaimed fir. Hit it, a little bit medium, let's say medium aggressively, turned out really well. So now we're going to run the double brush option. So we're going to have two nylon heads running opposite of each other, give you a really nice finish. We're going to run some barnwood, some different oak, some other softwood, reclaimed, veneer. All right, these samples here, we ran through the double brush with two nylon abrasive heads. We started out with a white oak veneer. It actually gives it a really nice subtle look. Jumped into the solid oak. And again, it's different than just a wire brush because it's a more natural distressing than a wire head. You got the flooring, then we jumped into the cedar. Turns out really nice, so does the pine. Then if you look right here, we ran the roofing board, reclaimed roofing. Still has a nail in it. It goes right over it, no problem. Cleans it up, looks excellent. Then we have an exterior reclaimed barn board as well that we kept the patina on there, but we're able to clean it up. So now you can run your hands over it and it's smooth and you don't get any slivers or anything. Next, we're going to take the double nylon setup and we're going to run some different metals. We're going to run your aluminum, some stainless, and even some steel to clean the rust up. So right here you can see on this aluminum we got quite a bit of burrs that we need to take care of. Then you jump over to some other large burrs here and you move over to you can have all sorts of corrosion and everything that needs to get taken off. got rust that we're gonna clean up. Everything will be prepped, ready for paint or anodizing or just clear. So it'll be all ready to go with one pass through a double brush, 2 nylon head setup. Here's some of the samples that we ran with the double brush setup. Did a couple things. We had a piece of aluminum that was cut with a router that we wanted to prep the surface and to deburr it, so we took care of that. Another little aluminum part that we needed a little deburring and prepping the surface. And then we kept on going with that. Another aluminum piece. We have a stainless piece that we wanted to get a nice brush finish on, and we did that. Cleaned some rust off of this steel piece. And then continued with the aluminum, another steel piece that we had to prep that for powder coating, and then we had an aluminum piece that had a lot of oxidation that we had to take off. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to run quite a few different samples on a double-headed super brush with the flap sander heads in it. So there's a lot of different grits you can put on those heads. Today we're going to run a couple different grits. We're going to run some circle sawn oak through it, clean up a little bit of barnwood. We're gonna run through a cabinet door so we can break the edges and prep it for finish. We actually have a piece of trim that's been finished that we're gonna do a scuff sanding on, and then we're gonna jump down to these primed parts and scuff them as well. Here we are with the samples. We ran through the super brush, double brush with the flap sander heads. A couple things we ran today. We ran the circle sawn oak, where we wanted to keep the circle sawn marks, but we wanted it nice and smooth, denibbed it really well. And then we jumped over to a cabinet door where we wanted to get the surface ready for stain, open it up really well. We radiused the edges, so it took the sharpness out, got down into the profile, so that's pretty much ready to go. Got a profile cut into some MDF with primer on it, sanded that. Have an MDF molding that was primed, got that all scuffed as well. And we even did a little bit of sealer sanding on this piece of oak. The last thing we ran today was a piece of reclaimed, where we ran that through, so now again, nice and smooth, nothing to catch you. Turned out really well. All right, as you can see, we have a lot of different brush heads that we can work with. So if you have barnwood to stainless steel to steel, aluminum, pretty much anything, foam, EVA foam or harder foam, MDF, we have a brush head to do almost anything, and if we don't, we can get it made. Some of the brush heads will look identical. We'll change how thick the wire is. We'll change how long the wire is, how many wires per inch there are. Then we have the flatter heads. You can just change the abrasive strips, so we have a lot of different purposes there for that head. You have your Scotch Brights, different density Scotch Brights, all sorts of different things that we get there. The nylons also, length of the bristle, how thick the bristle is, what grits in the bristle, a lot of different ways to make the heads just to do what they need to do. Now, if you're like most of our customers, you might not know the exact head you need. You might know I need a wire head or I need a nylon abrasive head, but you don't know which one, and that's where we come into play. I'll help you out, tell you exactly the head that you should probably use, and then we'll run some samples to prove it out. All right, here's a random sampling of some of the different things that the super brush can do. Do everything from giving the EVA foam a grained finish to scuffing the acrylic so it looks like a light block product, Got a really nice brush finish on the copper right here. Again, some more acrylic that we were able to scuff out really well. Then we jumped down to some extruded aluminum. Went from a pretty nasty piece of aluminum to brushed really nice looking. You can see down here that you're able to get different layers, or levels I guess it is, on the aluminum. We're able to scuff into each of those, the profile with the brush. On the tube, we're able to really do a nice brush finish on the square tube, and even how the edge has a radius to it, you can set it where you can get that down that edge and scuff the edge. Just like this laser cut piece here, we're able to run it through, break the edges, so when you do paint it, it sticks really well. I know if the edge is really sharp, the powder coat won't stick, so now it will. And then up here we have a piece of cypress, brushed out really well. Cypress brush is excellent with the double brush setup. And then we do another piece here, is just reclaimed barnwood. We're able to keep the patina, and it still looks really nice and natural, but yet now it's clean and you can run your hands over it. And one interesting thing with it, like you can see this piece of reclaimed oak actually has nails in it. And we ran right over that, doesn't even matter. Run it through, cleans everything up, and you're done. So today we ran a lot of different types of products, different applications, and they can all be done on the double head machine or the single head. It's just the double head gets there a lot quicker. Go ahead and check us out at lagunatools.com and look at the entire Supermax line.